Productivity isn't about how much you get done, but more so of what you accomplish. And what you accomplish really needs to align with what you value. You need to ask yourself, what do you value? Maybe that means spending more time with loved ones, or playing video games with your friends, having a simple space to live in, or maybe it's even about advancing your career. Whatever your values are, in order to be productive, you need to make changes that align with those values. And those changes are going to fall into one of three categories: managing your time, focusing your attention, and increasing your energy. So today I'm going to talk about how I learned to improve these areas in my life by reading the book, The Productivity Project by Chris Bailey. If you want to read the book yourself, then I'll drop a link to it in the description. Otherwise, let's get started. When it comes to being productive, you may have heard about the Pareto principle, or the 80-20 rule, which basically means that 80% of your results are driven by 20% of what you do. So the first thing you want to do when you're managing your time is determine which tasks are giving you the biggest impact in your life. Or better said, which tasks can you accomplish today that will make your tomorrow easier? You can also apply this rule to your wardrobe. 20% of what you wear 80% of the time. So you can actually declutter your wardrobe by pulling out the stuff that you're always drawn to and then decluttering the rest. The second thing you can do when managing your time is using the rule of three. The rule of three is really simple, and I started using it, and I think it's made my life a lot easier. Basically, at the start of your day, you want to define the three things that you want to accomplish before you go to bed. You can also use the rule of three to plan out your week, where you list three larger goals that you want to accomplish by the end of the week. Number 3 is figuring out what your biological prime time is. Not all of us are going to be the same. Waking up at 5:30 might not be beneficial for you. I work the night shift, so that means that I work from 2 p.m. to midnight. Waking up at 5:30 a.m. just isn't plausible to me. I would be a zombie basically every single day. In order to find out when your biological prime time is, you need to log your energy levels during the day for a full week. You'll notice in your trend that there are certain times of day where you naturally have more energy. For me, that's usually between 2 and 5 p.m. Once you define your biological prime time, you want to make sure that you're doing all of your high-impact tasks during that time. And your high-impact tasks are all the tasks we discussed in the first step using the Pareto principle. Number 4 is avoiding Parkinson's law, which basically states that the amount of time required to complete a task will expand to fill the amount of time that you've allotted to complete the task. So if you've given yourself 2 hours to finish doing the laundry, it will take you 2 hours to do the laundry. A way to do this is by reducing the amount of time you allow yourself to do a task, whether that's setting a timer or giving yourself a false deadline. The fifth and final tip to managing your time is having a maintenance day. Instead of completing all of your household chores throughout the week, like laundry on Mondays, garbage on Tuesdays, vacuuming on Wednesdays, etc., do all of your tasks on one day. I found that doing this works directly against Parkinson's law because you only give yourself one day to complete all of the tasks you would normally have the whole week to do. The first tip when focusing your attention, I think, is the most important tip I have for you today, and that is doing a brain dump. If you don't know what a brain dump is, basically you take a sheet of paper and you write down everything that comes to mind, whether that's picking up a prescription at the pharmacy, going grocery shopping, picking up a present for your niece, getting dog medication. I don't know why all of my examples are medication related. Whatever tasks you have floating around in your brain, just barf them up on the paper. And it doesn't matter what order it is, it doesn't have to be pretty. A lot of people liken it to having an ongoing to-do list. But basically, a brain dump is for you to get rid of all of those ideas floating around in your head and putting them in one spot. Because your brain isn't designed for holding ideas, it's for having ideas. And by clearing out all of that clutter you have going on in your brain, you're opening up that space for more important things. Number 2 is kind of a result of doing a brain dump, which is creating more attentional space. Attentional space is equivalent to letting your mind wander. By giving your mind space to wander, you're essentially creating more time for it to be creative. Ways you can increase attentional space are meditating, exercising, reading a book, taking a walk. Basically anything that you can be mindful of. You can even sit down for a meal without turning the TV on or having your phone and only focusing on having that meal. Creating attentional space is completely about being mindful and doing things deliberately with time and focus. Number 3 is eliminating distractions before they happen. So for me, the biggest thing is when I want to get something accomplished, I make sure that my phone is turned off and everything is set to mute so that nothing distracts me from my train of thought. I turned off all of my phone notifications so I never get the buzzing or the binging or anything throughout the entire day. And I took this a step further and put my phone on Do Not Disturb from midnight to 8 a.m. So if you need me during those times, sorry, but it's kind of your own problem. Number 4 is kind of controversial, and it's no multitasking. A lot of people seem to think that multitasking helps them get more things done, but as we said, productivity isn't about how much you get done, but what you accomplish. So multitasking just gives you the illusion that you're being productive, but really your brain can't focus on more than one thing at a time. What it's actually doing when you're multitasking is switching between the 2 tasks. The opposite of multitasking is single tasking. And if it's hard for you to just do one task at a time, I suggest utilizing the Pomodoro technique, which is when you set a timer to do one task, and then after that timer is done, you can switch. You can start with as little as 20 minutes. Just set a timer on your phone, and as soon as that timer goes off, you're free to do any other tasks that you want, or maybe you want to continue working on what you're doing. The 5th and final tip for focusing your attention is meditation. And I know that meditation has been bludgeoned to death, but meditating is basically a form of creating attentional space, which is another way to say that you're being mindful and deliberate. Meditation has time and again been proven to increase your energy and attention, and honestly, it can be as simple as focusing on your breathing for 2 minutes. It doesn't have to be sitting on a cushion on the floor chanting Om for 15 minutes. This is probably the easiest one to do that we all know how to do. We just don't like doing it because it's fun to have sugary sweets. It's fun to be lazy and Netflix all day. But in order to be more productive, you need to increase your energy levels. The first way to increase your energy is obviously eating healthier. If your diet consists of McDonald's chicken nuggets and 2 liters of Mountain Dew, you're going to feel it. What's important when you're trying to eat healthier is making small strides, because that's how it's going to stick with you in the long run. So instead of reaching for potato chips, maybe have some baby carrots or some celery and hummus. Whatever you choose to do, just make sure that they're in the right direction instead of going out for McDonald's every single day, which we all know I love McDonald's. If you haven't watched the video of Kyle critiquing my credit card bill, you'll see how much I love McDonald's, and I'll link that right here. In line with eating healthier is reducing your caffeine and alcohol consumption. Drinking caffeine is basically borrowing energy from later in the day, and drinking alcohol is borrowing energy from tomorrow. We all know what it feels like to crash or have a hangover, and in order to be more productive, you can't be having those withdrawal symptoms or recovering from having too much of those. I also want to take a moment to kind of note that if you're trying to find your biological prime time from section 1, it'll be a lot easier when you cut out caffeine and alcohol because you're not using those as stimulants throughout the day. To keep going with this eating healthier mindset, the 3rd thing you need to do is increase your water consumption. I am notorious for not drinking enough water. I have had 3 kidney stones in the last 2 years, and kidney stones are not fun. You want to avoid them. Make sure you're drinking your water because you're basically a cucumber with anxiety, and your body needs water to live. Number 4 is not food related, but it is health related in the sense that you need to exercise. When you're exercising, your body creates endorphins, and those endorphins are giving your body a little energy boost. So you really want to take advantage of that when you get up and you go to the gym, or even if you just get up and go walk your dog around the block. Small things like that are going to make a big difference when you need that extra energy to be more productive throughout the day. The 5th and final tip is to have better sleep. Sleeping is one of those things that a lot of us do not get nearly enough of, and throughout the week we're kind of starving our body of good sleep, and then on the weekend we sleep in because we're catching up on all the lost sleep, and then you feel like you just wasted your weekend and you weren't productive. So there's kind of 2 benefits to this. When you're getting good quality sleep, You don't sleep in on the weekends, so you have more time to be productive. Ways that you can improve your sleep quality include reducing the amount of blue light you expose your eyes to, because blue light is harsh on your retinas, and honestly, you're in front of a screen almost all day, so by reducing that blue light, your body will naturally start to release serotonin, which will start to make you feel drowsy. You can also set your room up to look and feel like a cave, which is actually really good for your body. You want it to be thermally neutral, which means that you're not sweating and you're not shivering, and you want it to be dark so that your eyes can adjust and that your body can kind of tell itself, hey, it's nighttime, it's time for us to sleep. So that's all I have for you today. I think that comes out to about 15 tips, 5 for each category. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It lets me know that you liked this content and it encourages me to create more for you. So until next time, bye!